What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. We're halfway through 2017, and this has already been an awesome year to be into video games. We've had so many releases that were bigger and better than anybody saw coming, but still, we somehow have people who are saying, oh man, there's nothing fun to play until November. So just to prove those people wrong, and maybe teach them something cool that they may have missed, I'm counting down my picks for the top 10 best games of 2017 so far. Number 10. Resident Evil 7. There are few things more difficult than trying to completely change an established series. Since its beginning, the Resident Evil franchise has been all about trying to bring on a sense of disconnected fear. With its far-out camera angles, limited ammo, and creepy monsters, you felt trapped and alone with your hero. For RE7, Capcom did something that no one expected them to be able to do right. They managed to brilliantly convert this same fear into a messed up first-person shooter. Despite this shift in perspective, it's still just as spooky as ever. These twisted swamp creatures, darkened basements, and bloody notes we stumble upon all prove that a good developer can make anything scary. Number 9. Yakuza 0. Some of you might get angry at me in the comments, but I never really tried the Yakuza games much until this one. I'd always heard great things and understood that it had a huge cult following, and yet I never gave it a chance. Since this entry is truly bringing the action back to its roots, it felt like the proper time to give it a shot. What I didn't realize is that I was in for a weird, colorful, and frankly insane experience. Our story takes place in the glowing streets of Japan in the 80s. This is a period of gang wars and brutal violence, but to Kazuma, this is nothing out of the ordinary. Beating up drunk jerks, flirting with chicks, and making thousands of dollars in a day is all business as usual. There's a silly mix of minigames and radical fighting that all merge into one, making Yakuza 0 just fantastic. Number 8. Nier Automata. In the far-flung future, mankind has had to go into hiding. After robot death machines took over Earth, the survivors were forced to flee to a special colony they built on the moon. To clear out this mechanized menace, scientists have begun sending down androids to finally destroy these freaky beasts. That's obviously a lot easier said than done, because these enemies range in size from being 1 meter tall all the way up to killbots that are roughly as big as cities. Lucky for us, 2B is programmed to be the ultimate assassin with her swords, guns, and kicks. Nier Automata has a combat system that relies heavily on timing. Hitting a weak point at the perfect moment rewards you with tons of bonus damage, while dodging at the last possible second can open up an extra attack window. There's a wonderful flow to each scuffle that makes this game endlessly enjoyable. Number 7. Outlast 2. When you really think about it, terror can be a funny thing. This one emotion can control us so much, altering how we play a game or what our dreams will be. Outlast 2 is so interesting because it digs in deep of what the boundaries of fear can be and toys with your mind at every opportunity. The plot opens with 2 reporters going into the woods to investigate what they believe is a strange murder case. As soon as they arrive though, they discover that there's way more going on than just a couple savage slayings. Apparently there's a bunch of religious fanatics living up in the hills who are preparing for the end of the world. Anyone who's waiting for the apocalypse is a nutcase that you don't want to deal with. When these journalists get separated and one is captured, the situation quickly devolves into a desperate journey to last until dawn. With no weapons or ways to defend yourself, the only path to escape is to stay unseen and pray for the coming light. Number 6. Nex Machina. Occasionally a person can just crave a game that doesn't bother with fancy writing or well-edited cutscenes. Maybe all you're wanting right then is high scores, fast shooting, and a few beautiful explosions. Nex Machina at its heart is a blistering arcade-style project that wants to push your reaction speed to its limits. Each level is filled with thousands of tiny foes that are moving in rapid movements nearly swifter than your eye can detect. Not only that, but they're armed to the teeth with laser guns just as deadly as yours, so a slight mistake can mean your doom. If you get hit even once, you'll explode in a nuclear catastrophe and have to restart the stage. That might sound harsh, but really that's part of the thrill of this game. Learning the best method for traversing a world crammed with fluorescent monsters is a rare kind of fun that kept me hooked for many hours, especially when I was bringing a friend along for the fun. Number 5. Injustice 2. We exist in an amazing age now where there are more hardcore gamers than ever. Genres that used to be considered very niche are now able to gain major appeal, which has allowed bigger studios to experiment with previously unknown ideas. Injustice 2 won me over the second I turned it on because it was something I'd never seen before. It had tight combat and stellar superhero punching plot. In a universe where Superman has gone mad and started ripping apart villains, only Batman and his crew can hold him at bay. To make this task a little more difficult though, there's also an invasion by the world-consuming alien Brainiac. What we end up with is a three-way conflict that is extremely intense, but all told on the backdrop of the most superb combo-filled matches. While many fighting games fall into the trap of trying to be overly complex, within minutes of picking up Injustice, you'll be creating long chain attacks. It is the very definition of easy to learn, tough to master, and it's a testament to great design. Number 4. Nioh. What if someone had the guts to make a game that was based around Japanese mythology, but with the controls of Dark Souls? That's essentially what Nioh is, and yet it transcends the simple description to become more than the sum of its parts. William is a samurai who's come to this blood-soaked territory on pretty much the worst day ever. Demons have ripped into the land and are raging through the countryside with almost no one strong enough to even slow them down. I guess it leaves that duty up to us and our incredibly sharp swords. Let me start by saying that Nioh is hard, with a capital H in that hard. Defeating these red beasts is more a matter of how you swing your blade than anything else. There are multiple stances for using each weapon, allowing you to think of situations in various offensive and defensive ways that are just awe-inspiring. Being able to flip away from a demon's grasp, chop off his arm, and roll away just in time to prepare for my next target is delightful. Number 3. Persona 5. In this latest console generation, there seems to be this misunderstanding that old-school turn-based RPGs are dead. Major companies randomly decided that no one enjoys them anymore, so they stopped production. Fans of the genre like myself were really saddened by this news, but right before we lose all hope, Atlus dropped this absolute bombshell. Persona 5 is a 100-hour-long adventure that brings together rich combat and wicked storytelling. We take on the role of a new student starting school in a big city. This is a confusing period in his life, but things get far more bizarre when he begins getting caught up in interdimensional heists. Yes, you heard me right. These sharply dressed teammates are on a quest to break into the inner mind of some truly corrupted people in order to steal their heart, which will turn them good again. What's so perfect about this game to me is that every dungeon is a gorgeous reflection of the bad guy's inner troubles. I mean, look at this right here. I am in a castle made of butts. I really don't need to say anything else. Number 2. Horizon Zero Dawn. Imagine a society that exists with no sense of history, where every day is brand new because there are no records as to where they came from. In Horizon Zero Dawn, mankind lives in a world where we've returned to a tribal state. No longer are there high buildings and cell phones to make us feel normal. Now the only comfort you might find is a soft bed if you're lucky. Our hero realistically won't even find that due to the fact that she's an outcast. In the jungles of this land, being alone is very dangerous because of the giant mechanical dinosaurs that dominate the surface. But having no other option, our hero has hunted solo for decades, making her super strong. Usually, these robo-animals are supposed to be quite peaceful. Recently, something has been driving them into a murderous frenzy, and it's our job to find out why before it's too late. Everything about Horizon Zero Dawn captures a genuine feeling of discovery. Learning how to track creatures for parts, riding between ruined skyscrapers, or just unlocking another checkpoint seems like a personal milestone. We get to step into the shoes of Aloy and see a world that's beyond the scope of anything that may ever be real. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. With the release of the Nintendo Switch this year, Nintendo knew that they needed to bring out a project with it that would get people talking for months. Breath of the Wild has certainly filled that need, and yet it's also creating shockwaves for other reasons. In the past, Zelda's been a series that prides itself on being quite simple. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It utilizes a unique style of almost no talking and all action. For the sequel though, they did a stunning rebuild of what every fan was expecting. This is an open world experience that is staggeringly massive, allowing you to go anywhere and do anything. Do you want to climb a mountain, bomb some goblins, or just explore the depths of a random puzzle room? All of this is totally possible, and it's never forced. There's pure freedom to every single activity. Around every corner is a new surprise that makes you want to play more, and even when you have to take a break, it sticks in your brain, making you want to count the minutes until you can revisit Hyrule. For its beautiful environments, neat bosses, and hundreds of epic magic shrines, I am awarding this my pick as the best game of 2017 so far. Did your favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I want to make a small note at the end here that some of these may move around as the year goes on, so at the end of the year, when I count down my favorite games of all of 2017, don't be shocked if some of these are in slightly different positions. Also, if you want to do me a favor, link this video to any of your friends when they're like, man, 2017 sucks for gaming. Just show them this video and be like, that's strange, for a year that sucks, there sure is a ton of stuff to play. Oh, hey. I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.